Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I am here to talk about and review Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. This is a 1995 film that was directed by Brian Spicer, and I decided to rewatch this because I haven't seen this movie probably since it came out in theaters. I'm not going to lie. And in 1995, I was about 6 years old. So when I was a kid, I was obsessed with the Power Rangers. The TV show, I would try to watch it each and every single day after school or whenever it was on. I was obsessed. Now, the older I got, the more I got away from the Power Rangers. I never watched any of the spin-offs or the later versions. And so this is a trip, a trip down memory lane to go back and watch this movie because man, do I not remember a lot of the shit going on here. Okay, let me be honest. What I thought the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, was... It was fine. It was fine. It wasn't great. I can't lie and pretend like it was a good movie, especially watching it through adult eyes. I just could not help but think, man, this is so 90s. This is so cheesy and over the top and goofy. And I'm sure it's obvious. Being a kid, being that young, this will cater to that sensibilities. This will cater to what I would have enjoyed as a child, but it doesn't have a lot of rewatchability factor for me as an adult. I can only imagine what my mom must have been thinking, taking me to the theaters to see this damn film. She must have been like, God damn it, really? Look, I think there's two characters from the Power Ranger movies that we remember and talk about the most. Obviously, Kimberly, who's played by Amy Jo Johnson. She was, I think, everyone's first crush that grew up in the 90s. She was definitely mine. And also Jason David Frank, who plays Tommy Oliver. Tommy Oliver was the coolest character on this show. Even when Jason was supposed to be the leader, Tommy came in and said, nope, this is my show now. And he really was. He was the cool dude. He was the one that everyone wanted to be like. He was not only the Green Ranger, but then when he went through his arc and became the White Ranger, I thought he was the coolest thing ever. I did. Now, watching this movie, it's interesting that we get to see a little bit more of the actors that play the Power Rangers, do a little bit more of the action, do a little bit more of the stunts, because obviously on the show, whenever there's fighting scenes, they just reuse the footage from the Japanese show. This blew my mind when I read this a few years ago because I didn't know this as a kid, that all of that footage of them in the Power Rangers suits fighting on the show wasn't ours. It wasn't the American show. It was just taken over and reused and repurposed. And so now, because all of this footage for the movie was shot for the movie, you got to see a lot of them doing their own stunts or doing their own fighting. Granted, the other members of the Power Rangers you don't care at all about. At least I don't. Billy, I do like Billy because he was from the show and he was one of the original members. But damn, what happened to the Black Ranger? What happened to Jason? What happened to Trini? Like all of these characters that I remember from the show, I looked up that Jason and the black dude that they left due to budget or pay. They just weren't getting paid, I guess. I don't know what happened to Trini. I know she died young. So it's just weird to see a lot of these other characters. For example, we have Aisha. So I guess they wanted to make sure they had a Black Ranger there. I'm glad that the black girl wasn't just the Black Ranger, like what they did initially, and that the Asian dude wasn't the Yellow Ranger, like what they did initially. Adam and Rocky. Again, even the Red Ranger, like, they're not even trying. They're not even trying to have these characters compete for the lead role because Tommy is here. The villains, You have Rita Repulsa and you have Lord Zed. I remember as a kid thinking that Lord Zed was the coolest yet scariest looking villain ever. And now it's just super goofy. Now it's just like, oh man, really? I mean, he still looks kind of cool, don't get me wrong. But Rita Repulsa, the dubbing that they do, the original actress must be so bad, or maybe she doesn't speak English well. I don't know, because the dubbing of her voice is so grating and so annoying. I know she's a villain, so maybe that was the point, but it just doesn't even look like that's her voice or that it matches up. They summon this threat for the movie, Ivan Ooze, which I kind of like that Ivan Ooze shows up and just kind of takes those two out and says, you know what, get out of here. I'm going to put you in the snow globe and I'm going to take over as the main threat. I'm going to create this ooze, this purple gooey ooze. Looks like it's right straight from Goosebumps or something. And it somehow mind controls and hypnotizes all of the adults and the parents in Angel Grove. And I'm just like, oh, yikes, this plot. Ugh. Really? What are we doing here? Ivan Ooze, the makeup, I can appreciate that it was an actor wearing practical effects. It wasn't just him wearing a mask and so you couldn't see him talk like some of the other usual villains, but I like that you at least saw the guy act. The problem was that he was terrible. Oh yes, I don't know what voice he was going for. Just every time he talked, he didn't sound intimidating, he didn't sound scary. He looked kind of creepy, but he was so goofy that you just, I don't know, I couldn't take him seriously as a threat. And it was kind of weird that he would just take his goo and use that to create his henchmen, whether it was these purple gooey-like things or whether it was the monkeys with wings. I don't really know what the hell was going on. I was impressed that he showed up to the hideout and took out Zordon, took out all of the, like, I was impressed. He caused some damage, even though Alpha 5 in his I cannot believe there was a song in the end credits dedicated to Alpha 5 of all characters. I couldn't help though but rewatching this. Remember when X-Men Apocalypse came out and the Apocalypse villain in that movie, Oscar Isaac, poor Oscar Isaac, and the way how the makeup on him looked and some of the lighting would make him look purple, and everyone called him Ivan Ooze. So rewatching this and seeing the real Ivan Ooze, that is even more hilarious now in retrospect. So what can I say? Right? What more can I say about this movie? The acting obviously isn't great. The cheesy one-liners and the goofy jokes that the Power Rangers are saying while they're fighting the henchmen are kind of cringy. And the action is not horrible. There's at least decent wire work and practical type stunts and whatnot. There is plenty of action. There's never really a boring part of the movie because of the amounts of action. In fact, there's one moment when the Power Rangers just leave planet Earth to go to another planet to look for a higher power, and they run into this character, this hot chick who just shows up wearing next to nothing. I didn't mind that, but it was just so random. It was so just like, here you go, Rangers, here's these ninja powers. And then the end battle, my god, I appreciate so much more on the TV show when they actually had people in the suits, in the robot suits. And yes, it was goofy because it reminded you of the Godzilla old movie effects of how they did the fighting. But the CGI here, I know that they were trying to push CGI before it was really ready to do stuff like this, but the CGI end battle at the end of this is so goddamn bad. Look, there's a part of me that appreciated this movie as far as a nostalgic trip. There's a part of me that sort of remembers the days of being a kid and just enjoying this, turning your brain off and enjoying a show like this. Hey, before I go, rest in peace, Jason David Frank. It sucks to hear that he passed away, and so if nothing else, I'm glad that you gave us the Power Rangers entertainment that you did, and man, this was fun. This was fun. I did laugh, maybe for the wrong reasons, but I did enjoy this movie, rewatching it in some sense. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Sticking to my decision, just a rupture, y'all ignition. I'm painting my perfect vision, intuition is real. If you humble, you will never stumble. Listen, it's clear, but I'ma give it to him. Let the God seize the day.